The popularity is off the chart.
All right. Let's get on with it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Dave!
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 Dave?
Dave!
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 Ah. Now that's just hurtful.
That's the fact, Jack!
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, David Burrow from SteelSanctuary.com. We got the full group with us today: David Cora, Bob Quinn, Trent Ging. Guys, how's it going?
Wonderful.
Let's start out with a little bit of Steelers news. I thought this was kind of interesting. CBS Sports' Jonathan Jones says the Steelers have been lowballing teams on their trade offers for an offensive weapon. Does that explain why they haven't really gotten anybody, or is this just some guy shooting his mouth off?
Yeah. I mean, do we really, after whatever happened with IU happened last year, and maybe they were lowballing the whole time, do we really doubt that Omar is being extra cautious and saying, hey, look, if I lowball you, maybe you come back with what you really want, versus if I give you my best offer, you string me along. So maybe Omar has learned a little lesson here. Hey, I'm going to underbid and make you, if you're really interested, say, no, you got to up that offer to this, and then just say, okay, we're good.
I mean, I think aside from that too, there's got to be, it's this time of year. Why get excited to go give your best offer when you know teams are going to get a little bit more desperate during cut down day? This may just set the table for the negotiations, and it gives you plenty of time to have those negotiations leading up to getting closer to cut downs and when teams are going to get a little more desperate.
I think it's a little bit to do with they want to hold on to those draft picks for next year as much as possible. So I think he's got a number, that third round pick, because he's got 4 of them. And if anybody wants to go higher, you're not getting it. So that might have something to do with it. But that also kind of limits the kind of player you can get if all you're offering is a third at most. Kind of all tracks, right?
We know we don't want to offer a first. Because
definitely not the first.
Quarterback.
First is untouchable. Yeah.
Right. And we kind of don't want to.
Yeah,
even a second. So to me, I got 3/3. If it depends. Now, if he's using the 4ths and 5ths and saying, hey, I'll give you a 4th, and with the idea of upping to a 3rd, okay, I'm cool with that. But, it really just depends. I mean, are they calling around saying, hey, well, are you interested in Ben Skoranek per chance, or James Pierre? I mean, to me, that's lowballing.
Yeah, when you think about it, they're probably going to trade their first to move up. So you don't want to have already traded your second and not be drafting till the 3rd round. That's a no-go. I think that does limit them, and that's probably why teams are probably saying that the Steelers are lowballing them. They just don't want to trade their premium picks with their big plan for next year. I hope they don't. I hope they go into the next year with their 1st and 2nd round pick, because they're going to need it. Adam makes the point. He thinks ever since he fleeced the Bears that he can fleece everyone. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it at all. And honestly,
do you think teams are a little more careful about having negotiations with Omar Khan because he fleeced the Bears the way he did?
No, I don't think so. Because I think
he fleeced them twice, really. I mean, the Chase Claypool deal, and he kind of fleeced him on Justin Fields, because he ended up he got him off to a 4-2 start, and they only had to give up a 6th rounder for him.
Exactly.
I think he did a better job with the Justin Fields thing, even though that was a great trade. I think looking back, it's kind of clouding that Chase Claypool trade, because Chase Claypool was thought of as a pretty good receiver with a good future at that time. And nobody flinched when they got a 2nd for him. Nobody was like, oh my God, at the time. After Chase Claypool fell apart, then people started saying, oh my God. So that's kind of a little bit of recency bias. But the Justin Fields thing, he waited them out perfectly. He waited and waited and waited and got them down to a 4th.
Well, Dave, one thing I would say to you, though, you got a 2nd for Chase Claypool, and you got a DK Metcalf was a second. So it was kind of a fleece, don't you think?
It was. It turned out to be. But at the time, we thought Chase Claypool was a lot better than he was.
I don't
And
think
so
we ever thought
obviously
he
so
was
did the
in
Bears.
I don't think we ever thought he was in DK Metcalf's league, did we?
No. Well, weren't they calling him the Canadian whatchamacallit and everything else?
Mapletron.
Yeah, Mapletron and all that stuff.
Mapletron. Yeah,
I don't know.
Wasn't there a rumor last week that the Steelers might have interest in bringing him to camp?
I think that was a fake news thing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. We're talking about Antonio Brown coming back and everything else. Throw Chase Claypool in there, too.
I was wondering who Mike Tomlin was going to get to DJ practice.
I read this just before we got on, like an hour before we got on. I'm like, Ray Fittipaldo said on Pony Show, I guess, that he doesn't see a big difference between Mason Rudolph and Uncle Aaron. I mean, I don't listen to Ray Fittipaldo. I don't know. I don't read his stuff. Is he a Mason guy? Is that what that's coming from? Or is he blind? You guys explain it to me that maybe I'm more familiar with him.
He's not quite Kaboli Mason level, but it was a little surprising to hear that. A lot of the beat writers are Mason guys.
They are. He's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, but come on. Are we really? Come on. You didn't see a difference between the two?
They
Do you not watch
made it
football?
very clear they're not fans of Aaron Rodgers a long time ago. So
That's that too.
the anti Rodgers brigade is gonna do their thing. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad when go ahead, Frank.
I was just gonna say it's gonna stir up conversation with the people who are like the diehard Mason fan base. It's like,
Yeah.
I told you we should have just let Mason start this year. He just needed one chance. You forgot about the other 3 chances the dude's already had to be a starter in the league, but he needs that one. I don't know.
I'm so sick of hearing about that 3-game streak he was
Just
on.
that one. Just needs a chance.
He just needs one.
He had a chance his rookie year, and for whatever reason, I mean, maybe it wasn't all his fault. I mean, Marlon Humphreys did almost put him in the hospital. Myles Garrett bounced a helmet off his head. Bottom line is he lost his job to Duck Hodges. Now, yes, he won it back to his credit, but then he lost it again due to injury.
He didn't win it back. Duck lost it. Duck lost it.
Tennessee benched Will Levis for him. He had a chance.
Here's the thing. He's okay. He's mid. Like, that's it. He's mid. He's not a Super Bowl, also MVP caliber player. Like, this is not hard. Like, I don't know why these idiots got to do this, but they do. I
cannot see a scenario where you watch both of them throw within minutes of each other and say, I don't see a difference. I mean, you're just being a dink. You're right. They just don't like Aaron, and they like Mason, and then they're going to do stupid shit like that, which is whatever.
I'm curious, did Ray leave after the warm-ups? Like, did they not actually start throwing hard yet? Maybe they were just doing warm-ups, and then he left.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's where this came from. I don't know.
I got to say this in shorts. I've been watching the highlights. Nick Faribault has done a great job of putting that out. If you don't follow his Twitter account, please go do that.
Oh, he's amazing. Yep.
Yeah, he's got some really great stuff on there. But, I mean, Aaron looks – I mean, he's not a running quarterback. He's never been a running quarterback, but he's shifty. He's shifty, and he looks shifty in practice in the drills. I don't see
looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't see any strain. But, again, we'll see what happens when there's people
right
at his feet.
Yeah.
Relic is a Mason guy, apparently. Mason didn't have a chance. Mason didn't get any chances. He
didn't have a chance his rookie year.
I think he's being sarcastic.
He's being sarcastic, guys.
All right.
Ignore his other chances.
He has to be being sarcastic. You almost got us going there early.
Yeah.
Bob, this is good news for you. Broderick Jones has lost some weight and is looking better in camp so far. Pat Meyer says he needs to be more consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think Pat Meyer knows what a good offensive lineman is or isn't, but that's
what an observation by Pat Meyer. Wow. Just otherworldly. Just, man. Yeah.
3 years in, you need to be more consistent. That's fucking coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Pat Meyer. Now go shut the fuck up, useless.
Best shape of his life. Vaughn says, yep, we've heard that 1,000 times. We heard it again. All the reports are good so far. That's all we can go by.
And I'm telling you, once contact starts and he's using that strong hand, his punch hand on the left side, it's going to be a huge difference. He it's not that he had a weak hand for the punch. His elbow was hurt last year. And no, he was a good soldier. The guy's a good kid. I don't understand why people hate Broderick. I really don't. He's playing out of position. He says all the right things. He doesn't complain, even though he should. He should have been complaining. He should have demanded a trade a year ago. When it started and he hurt his elbow, he should have walked out of that practice and said, I'm a left tackle. My GM says I'm a left tackle. Dan Moore doesn't have to move. Trade me. Trade me. I want out.
Well, the hate is because he sucked where they've had him, but it's also on the coaching staff because they set him up to fail, and that's the problem. Then you factor in the fucking injuries too, and he tried to play through them.
Yeah,
it's just it's. I see both sides of this. I can get why people are frustrated with it, but the coaching staff has also fucked this up pretty bad with him too. So
I did like an entire 25-minute episode just about Broderick Jones last year, talking about exactly what Bob was talking about. Like, it's very rare to get a kid that's drafted at his position in the first round who basically just continuously gets screwed over by the team and still says all the right things, does not cause a stir. I mean, he's a very high character kid. And I think that, so much of the fan base didn't dig into his draft profile at all and realize that he was a project player. And it was going to take time before he ever had a chance to realize his talent. And then you couple that with the fact that the coaching staff has basically completely fucked him over by just saying, like, we're going to move you wherever the hell we want, and we're not going to let you develop the position we want you to be in because, we're going to win this year. We need you on the right. It never made any sense the way he was treated by the team or the fan base, in my opinion, because this is the year that it was always going to be about whether or not he actually realizes his potential or not. He was a 3-year project coming up. If you guys wanted him to jump right out his rookie season and blow it out of the water, we drafted the wrong guy. That's just the reality.
Another thing about him too, like we're talking about character and stuff, who was the one that was constantly trying to talk George Pickens off the fucking ledge?
I was going to mention that.
On the fucking field. Yep. It was him. Yep. And I was surprised by that because he was young too. It was like, wow, that's the one I'm seeing that's actually trying to calm him down, and so that was another thing about him that I like to see.
This isn't the first time this coaching staff has done it. They did it to Sean Davis. It's like a parallel. It's the same thing. You're a corner, you're a safety. You're a corner, you're a safety. You're a corner, you're a safety. You're off the team. You're almost out of the league. It's like that kid was talented, and if they would have left him at safety, which he played in college and which was his position, and they drafted him for it, he might have been something. But you play around, and to Trent's point, everyone said Broderick Jones is a developmental guy. He's not ready. And when you switch the position of a developmental guy, that's a fucking disaster just waiting to happen. I don't understand how you see it that way. And it's not like, he was behind an all-world Hall of Fame left tackle. Is Dan fucking Moore. Move Dan Moore to the right. I mean, what are we talking about?
$83 million man, Dan Moore.
Wow.
Yeah. Whew, man.
An illegal immigrant makes a point. They kind of did it to Kevin Dotson, too. Oop, the wrong one.
Absolutely.
They did. They did. They moved his position, too. And now he's become fantastic for the Rams.
And that's my whole
he's graded out like
Meyer.
Yeah, graded out like the 5th best guard in the league right now.
Yeah. Been an absolute revelation.
That's why I'm saying I'm withholding judgment on Dan Moore until after this season. If he balls out in Tennessee, there's a real issue here. Or even if he plays mid, you still got to say this because he was never even mid in Pittsburgh. He was always below average. So I'm going to wait and see.
Okay, my man Steven. Okay, welcome to the show. We love having you. And let me tell you something about this whole Dan could not play right tackle. This is one of the things that pisses me off to no end. Dan Moore was a 4th-round draft pick who somehow got to dictate to the team, I am not moving. Yes, the coaching staff covered for him by saying he sucked. That's the endorsement. Hey, we can't move him to right tackle because he sucks. Well, if he sucks at right tackle, how good is he at left tackle? Let me tell you how good he was. He was the lowest graded tackle in the league for 4 years. But he got $83 million, and he's going to get Cam Ward killed.
You're not wrong.
Poor Cam Ward. He has no idea what he's up against.
He's not wrong.
Well, at least Cam Ward's semi-mobile, so he can probably try to save himself. But it's not like Mason Rudolph or the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger at the end there. Zach Azani let the cat out of the bag, I guess. Calvin Austin III is wide receiver 2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
I mean,
You guys know how I feel about Calvin Austin. So anybody want to agree with Zach Azani here, go ahead.
that's why we're lowballing teams for wide receiver right now, right? We got our guy. We're good.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, if he'd said Roman Wilson, I really wouldn't have been. Because we're kind of thinking that that's what the plan is. Calvin Austin is the number 2 wide receiver. I don't get it. I mean, you know, you guys know I love saying this, but I mean, if we're going to Oz to travel the yellow brick road, give me Calvin Austin all day. If we're going to play NFL football, could we maybe find somebody who's above 5'3"?
Well, I thought that Roman the Chiseled God Wilson was going to be the guy. I mean, I hear Kaboli talk. I'm just like, Roman Wilson's looking amazing. I thought he'll be probably the guy that gets bumped outside, but CA3.
It's sad, but Calvin Austin is the second best wide receiver on this team.
Yeah, Richard.
It's sad, but true.
Richard has a good point here. He does have. Yes, I agree. He has good hands, and you know, if he could figure out a way to tunnel under the turf on the crossing routes and then pop up and catch the ball, we might have something.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Roman Wilson is still chasing that train right now, so he may not be in wide receiver 2 category. Like he's getting close. He's about to catch up to the train, but he's getting there. So we'll see what happens with him. But
look, they got him on Hooked on Phonics and Rosetta Stone. This kid's going to figure this out. He's going to figure it out. I have faith in him.
So I guess Robert Woods is the slot, and Calvin Austin is the other outside receiver. Is that the way we line up right now?
I am dead serious. I think Robert Woods gets cut. I've been saying it. I think this dude's not going to make the team because I think they're going to make another move, and you're not cutting Calvin Austin because he has special teams value. You're not cutting Roman Wilson because he's going to be a 3rd round pick who you're going to want to keep on the team. Skowronek is a demon on special teams. Robert Woods might be the odd man out.
I could totally see it. It's as good of a
good
possibility as him starting. Yeah. He could be the starter or he could be off the roster. That's the Rock Taylor. Anybody Rock Taylor? Wide receiver 2 at this point. I haven't even seen him play yet, but
have we even seen him like and anybody posting any videos of him at all or anything? Like is he catching a ball?
Nothing.
Anything.
I haven't seen a fucking thing.
And for Vaughn, Calvin Austin is the incredible shrinking wide receiver.
Yeah, he is, especially on this podcast. Did anybody see the rumor that, I don't know, it was one of those wonky Twitter sites that Aaron Rodgers wants, what's his name that used to be in Cleveland there? Wide receiver. Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any truth to that one. I tried digging up to see if anybody else said anything. No one has, so I don't know where that came from. Listen.
I kind of like the idea that he didn't ask for Alan Lazard. Didn't mean to cut you off, Dave, but
no. Because it's hitting you like it's hit me. Time out. Isn't that from that one Twitter fucking account that just puts out bullshit all the time? Look, I'm glad he's there going, hey guys, this ain't good enough. Like, get me something. Like, I like that, but I don't know. Mark Cooper, I don't know.
I mean, he is a true outside receiver, at least. Everyone here right now is a slot. Everyone here is a slot. So in that scenario, but again, we've talked about him a couple times. He's cooked. It feels like he's cooked. So I don't know.
Robert, is there something wrong with all of us being bald?
Yeah, right.
I don't
He's taking shots at the bald man.
Yeah.
He requested. I put a hat on, so it was a little too shiny.
We had a full head of hair until Ben Roethlisberger retired. We've been pulling our hair out ever since.
I just shaved mine right before the pod. It's cleanly shaved and ready to go.
This wide receiver room is going to give me an ulcer at some point. It's been so bad for so long, and they
Well,
teased us a little bit. They got DK. We had DK and Pickens, and Calvin Austin in the slot. Now you're cooking, but Calvin Austin is number 2. Oh boy.
Pickens. I don't think Pickens was ever coming back. I really don't.
What is it?
I mean, I don't think Pickens was ever coming back. I really don't.
Well, you probably. I don't think so either. Now that we look at it in hindsight, it seems like they were shopping him the whole.
They were
offseason.
dead set on getting rid of him.
Yeah,
Dead set.
Yeah, we're going to pay a wide receiver $30 million, and it's sure as hell ain't going to be George Pickens, so they traded for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that was definitely the writing on the wall right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is anointing a wide receiver 2 in June means absolutely nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
They could have went into this saying, Mason Rudolph is quarterback 1. Aaron's got to earn his stripes. Nobody cares. Like Aaron's going to be the starter. You can say whatever you want. It's June. Who cares? They'll make a move. Some move. It may not be significant like everybody wants, but they'll make a move that's better than what we have.
Mike Williams 2.0.
You guys see the Pat Fryermuth interview he did, and he was talking about how refreshing it is that Aaron Rodgers holds people accountable. He expects people to be on time to meetings. To me, it was kind of a veiled shot at whatever
I didn't
was
see
going
this.
on.
I didn't
see it
see
either.
this.
Yeah, Pat.
Ooh.
He was talking about he likes his presence. He holds people accountable. He won't tolerate people being late. And then the follow-up
Imagine.
question was there. I don't know why it wasn't asked. Of, well, Pat, who do you mean? But he did couch it with saying, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or mention any names. But we know he was probably talking about Pickens. But the real question is, who the fuck else was he talking about? Because it wasn't just one guy. I guarantee you.
Sounds like a shot at Tomlin to me.
Oh, it's definitely.
Why isn't Tomlin holding these guys accountable? Why does the quarterback have to do it?
But hey, this is the perk of having Uncle Aaron there. Like,
Yeah.
Uncle Aaron's
'Cause
going to
we've
show
been
up,
talking
and
about-
he's going to fucking put people in fucking place.
Maybe
This
that's why
is the
Pickens
shit
isn't
they
here.
need.
Yeah.
Like, literally, when we get to Tomlin here, I'll be.
I mean, honestly, and we've kind of made this point. Can anybody think of any teammate of Aaron Rodgers who said he was a bad guy? Everybody in the media says it. A lot of people don't like his politics.
Mike Williams, that's the list.
Yeah, Mike Williams is the one. And as it turns out, he just plain sucked. He couldn't get on the field for the Steelers either. So there's that. And maybe he wasn't practicing the right way, and Aaron got on him, and he didn't like it. I could totally see that too. So yeah.
And Big Pun, I mean, hey, Dave and I both wanted Matthew Golden.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's move on to Mike Tomlin. Trent made a great point earlier this week as a conversation piece of Mike Tomlin being this pretty impressive recruiter of players, and he's loved by a lot of players. And you contrast that with the fact that he's kind of not the greatest in-game coach in the world. And it's always that yin and yang with Tomlin. He does certain things great, and he does certain things terrible. And the whole package, I don't know, it seems lacking to me. I don't know what you guys think. Because I was thinking about this today. We don't have DK Metcalf if Mike Tomlin's not the head coach. And we don't have Aaron Rodgers if Mike Tomlin's not the head coach. There's no way DK Metcalf agrees to be traded here with no quarterback and this offense unless Mike Tomlin's the coach. There's no way. And I gave him shit earlier in the year about not being able to recruit offensive players, and he proved me wrong because he got 2 really good ones on the team right now.
Did Tomlin really recruit Metcalf? I don't believe that. I believe, because remember, Metcalf, I want to go to a contender. I want to go to a warm weather city. We'll pay you $150 million. Oh, Pittsburgh will be just fine.
Well, he said that was a lie. He said he never said anything about a warm weather city.
Oh, yeah, he did say that was a lie. He said that stuff wasn't true.
But again, I make the point, he's not coming here if Mike Tomlin's not the head coach. Why would you? Because Mason Rudolph was the quarterback. This team hadn't won a playoff game in 10 years.
Wait, was Mason even signed then? Did they at least sign Mason?
It might have even been before Mason. Yeah, you're right. It might have been nobody.
That timeline, I think that.
So they didn't have a quarterback. Oh, they had a.
They had Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson was the quarterback at the time.
Yeah, ready to roll. Let's go.
And Aaron Rodgers came right out and said it. He said, I came here because of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop. So he gives them that cachet that a lot of other coaches don't have. Even if, like, when you get here, you might not be as big a fan, but even Patrick Queen is another one. Patrick Queen came here because of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Well,
Slay's another guy.
Slay.
He credited Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
In
So
retrospect, are we still happy that Patrick Queen came here?
That's a whole other story. We
Yeah, I
may
was
have to
gonna
get to
say,
that later, Bob.
there's, I got a
maybe
whole list here if you guys want to hear them, what I have wrote down. Like,
Yeah.
I was sitting here and I'm just like, it was so easy to name cons that's really bad that it was that easy. But so first one I got here is loses to bad teams a lot.
Yeah.
That happens way too often. I think back to the 23 season when they lost to the Patriots, who were actively tanking. And I think it was at Acrisure Stadium, correct? Then lost to what? The Cardinals right after that, who had a bad record.
Yeah.
And I think they lost a third game. I'm trying to remember who it was.
They did. It was 3 bad Patriots.
Yeah.
No, Pats, Cardinals, and there was another one. I can't remember the third one.
Colts. Colts were bad. Yep.
Just a horrible thing to see. Number 2, horrible with timeouts.
Okay.
How many times do we
God.
bash our head off the wall that we cannot believe what we're seeing with him in timeouts? It's horrible.
Epically bad. It's really bad.
Number 3, hardly ever wins challenges.
He's a legend at being bad at challenges.
When they
A
won
legend.
one, it was like we won the lottery when that happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, okay. Number 4, does not adjust offensively or defensively until it's too late. Dude,
Yeah.
the Ravens game was the biggest example I'd ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Yeah, it was bad. It was
They're
bad.
running heavy, 6 offensive linemen, and we're out there in the fucking nickel getting the shit ran over out of us. Like, just, let's see, what's next? Dude, I got a ton. Number 5, draft players that don't work out a lot. How many players has Mike Tomlin wanted drafted that we drafted and they didn't work out? We talk about all these wide receivers. He's so great with wide receivers. Dude, I think we've had one wide receiver that we kept longer than one contract that worked out, and that was Brown. I'll give him credit for Brown, but that's it. That's it. The rest of them, they're on the rookie contract. We either traded them or cut them or whatever, gone, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just wide receivers. There's other players too. I mean, oh my God. Oh, Deontay's one. Okay, that's one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Made it
but
through
still,
half the second contract.
Yeah.
right. So go ahead, Bob. What were you going to say? You were going to say something.
I was going to say, yeah, there's, I mean, if you count Deontay and you count Juju, which I don't, because Juju was forced back to us. Nobody wanted him. Deontay blew it up. It's Hines and it's Antonio Brown. Those are the only guys who've signed second contracts in free agency for the Steelers.
Well, I'm talking about guys drafted by him.
Getting wide receivers.
Well, I was talking about guys drafted during the Tomlin time frame. That's why I don't count Hines. What's another one? Obsessed with old school, run the ball, tough defense.
Yeah.
Like, how great did that worked out for us? Not really great at all. Number 7, wants certain players on the field that don't belong. CPAT, Sutton, Van Jefferson. Like, Jesus, fuck. These are guys that don't. They should be bagging groceries or something. Like, not on a professional football team. Like, it just, wow.
Or in Cordarrelle Patterson's case, beating them.
Yeah. My last one, number 8. Number 8. Practices are too laissez-faire. You always hear players that come from other teams to ours say, we got to be more locked in at these practices. How many times do you hear players that come from other teams say that shit? Because he decided to let the players run the practices and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be. Like, dude, you can't do that. Oh, yeah. Vaughn, bingo.
Family Ties. That's a big one.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Loves that one.
Good.
He loves that shit. Loves it. Eats it up.
So, dude, that's 9 things. 9
at least. Yeah, he's a player's coach, but that works against him because he's too easy on the players.
So the pros
against him.
So the pros I have rises to the occasion when starting off with a losing record. I'll give him credit for that. every time you think this is it, this is the year we're finally gonna like really, really suck, somehow the team comes back, roars back, and it goes at least with a 500 record or better. Number 2, great motivational speaker. We got to witness that during the whole Hard Knocks stuff. Number 3, studies ways to reach players on his team. We also saw that Hard Knocks, how he was learning that these young kids are more, was it photogenic or something like that? So then he was showing them pictures. Like that's a coach making an effort to reach kids that are on his team, even though, so I give him credit for that. And the last one I had was has an impact on his players' lives. The way these guys talk about him, he definitely has had an impact on them one way or another. But guys, that's it. That's all I got. That's the only fucking shit I got. I've got double the amount of bad. Like, this is not good.
Which honestly, that is why Mike Tomlin, if he was smart, and he is, he should go to the college game. Although with NIL, it's so different now. But Mike Tomlin would be one of the best college coaches because his message wouldn't get stale. You can get away with playing that kind of football in college. And Dick Saban got away with it for a long time until he was finally forced out of it. And then he just went and got really good coordinators. I don't know that Tomlin would do that, but he would be an amazing coach. I have impact on people's lives. Look, these are professionals who are getting paid. And I like the fact that I'm not disparaging him for it, but if the nicest thing I can say about a head coach in the NFL is he really turns his players into great men. Okay, how do they do on the football field? They're really good after football. Okay, but how do they do on the football field? He has an impact in their personal life. They're solid citizens. Okay, I'm asking how they do on the field. Oh, well, we haven't won a playoff game in a decade.
Do you remember what he said when they asked him about that? He was like, no. He was insulted by the question. Insulted about if he wanted to coach college or not. And he's like, no, I'm a pro coach. Don't you see what I'm doing here? And he was upset. So I don't think he's ever – that's not in his – well, it wasn't a couple of years ago anyway, in any way, shape, or form in his mind.
Yeah, he said, you asking Sean Payton this question? Like he was – I remember that.
Mm-hmm. He was insulted.
Pissed.
Yeah.
But
never say never, but never. I remember him saying that.
But think about it. It's everything Tomlin is. He could have his own fiefdom. It doesn't matter if his coordinators don't go on to other jobs. He can play that style. You can get away with that in college because I don't care. You only play these guys once a year. You don't play them twice a year. And in some cases, you play them every other year.
But he thinks he's good, and he thinks he's a good NFL coach. He doesn't want to go to college. He is sort of a good coach. Adam makes the point that's always been my point: is his coaching tree. He hires yes men. He does not hire good coordinators, and that kills him. I've said that for years now.
100%.
It kills him. If he had hired good coordinators, he'd have multiple Super Bowls right now. Period.
This is an interesting question. I would say Narduzzi by 28 miles because I don't think he's very good. Tomlin at least had a heyday.
Yeah.
The thing about college is you can be a great recruiter and a shitty coach. And it seems Narduzzi always has talent, but he never wins.
Yeah, he's Narduzzi.
No James Franklin.
Narduzzi's a joke, but and
I was
that's
getting
a good,
confused.
and honestly, I think you're right, Bob. That's Franklin. That describes him. Great recruiter, but man,
that's what I was confused. Franklin and Narduzzi. I was talking about Franklin.
Well, Franklin. I was going to say that it's more accurate with him. He can
recruit.
He can recruit his ass off, but in-game coaching, it'll drive you insane.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, I mean, yes, I'm frustrated with Mike Tomlin, but I feel like if he went now because he's young enough, he could have a 15-year run in college where he could turn around and say, I'm a guy who won a Super Bowl and I went on to have a dynasty in college, kind of like a Pete Carroll.
Yeah, there's only one guy, right? Pete Carroll. But anybody else done that? Won a
Nobody
championship in golf?
Well, technically Barry Switzer and Jimmy
I was
Johnson.
going to say Barry Switzer.
Yeah,
I thought that was his thing.
Yeah,
coming
Jimmy
into the
Johnson
Cowboys
too.
in '96.
Jimmy Johnson won with Miami.
Yeah, that's right. So it's been 3 or 4, but
damn,
it's rare. That could definitely be a legacy thing for Mike Tomlin. I don't think he has any desire.
He doesn't.
I'll say this also about Tomlin. Part of the reason why he's able to recruit players in the NFL the way that he does is the work he puts in the offseason. I mean, he might be the hardest working coach as far as showing up to the Senior Bowl and being at the combine. He's always every year it's videos of him on the field. He's talking to this guy, he's talking to that guy, formally, informally. Like he talks to everyone. And these kids all remember him. So even if he knows, and he's talked about this a lot, even if he knows he's not going to be in a position to draft a player, a lot of coaches won't waste time on that player. He's talking to them because he's thinking 4 years down the road, well, what if this team doesn't sign him to a new contract? Or what if we could trade for this guy? And, Landon Roberts was a shining example when he came here. He remembered, and he had been in the league forever at that point. He's like, I remember Tomlin, talking to me. So, that is part of why he's able to recruit the way he is at the NFL level. But how many big name star free agent type guys is DK probably the biggest one he's brought in?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I almost have to say Aaron, because even though he's 41, that's a 4-time MVP Hall of Famer.
I would argue Aaron's kind of a borderline on this because he didn't really have options. I mean, he's crediting Tomlin, and we could give Tomlin credit for that because maybe if Tomlin's not here, he just chooses to retire. But at the same time, it's not like Aaron had 3-4 teams lining up saying, hey, we'll sign you to a contract. It was kind of here he was done. I mean, he had the Giants there for a minute, but
what about Joe Hayden?
Joe Hayden got cut late. Yeah. So he.
But but Tomlin went clear to North Carolina to meet up with him.
Yeah,
talk him into coming to the Steelers. That's.
I'm going to say something that's going to make Dave fall out of his chair. That was one of Kevin Colbert's best moves, and I don't mean that sarcastically.
Well, I just meant in the fact that we're talking about Tomlin and how hard he works to get people to come. Him to travel clear to North Carolina.
Yeah, well, he truly loves every part of coaching. He loves the Senior Bowl. He loves the draft. He loves the combine stuff. He loves visiting camp. He loves it all. It is his life. He is completely involved in every aspect of it.
Maybe he should love the X's and O's too, because last I checked, that's what a coach should do.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when Patrick Queen said that Tomlin literally told him, where you belong or whatever. Like Tomlin had been saying that shit to him long before he was done with the Ravens. Tomlin was saying shit like that to him then.
Yeah.
You can't knock Tomlin for his desire and his work ethic and all that stuff. I mean, he's top of the line when it comes to that.
Oh, this is
in-game stuff. The in-game stuff kills him. And the preparedness of his team to play in games. You see, that's what we talk about when you say he loses to bad teams. It's why they were destroyed by Kansas City on short rest because they were not prepared for that offense on that day. He needs, and isn't he bad on Thursday nights too because it's a short week and he doesn't have time to prepare for it. Yeah, it's again, that's why you need top-notch coordinators to help you. You can't do it all. You cannot do it all. And he is the entire defensive planning, coaching, executing, play calling. That's all Tomlin. That's all Tomlin. And you can't do that.
What do you think of this question here about Minkah? Who is responsible for pursuing the Minkah trade?
That's all Mike Tomlin. That's all Mike Tomlin. He did not want to wave the white flag that season. He did not. He thought in his head, if I get Minkah, this defense is good enough to carry me through the playoffs with or without a quarterback. That's what he thought. And he was almost right.
I still think this was a catastrophic mistake by the Steelers.
Yeah, I do too.
Sorry.
They should have just ate the L's and drafted Ben's replacement. Let him study under Ben.
But then again, they didn't move off of Ben for 3 or 4 more years after that. They could have moved off Ben.
2.
Was it 2?
Yeah. 20 and 21. They could have sat whoever behind Ben for 2 years.
Yeah, they weren't.
Trent, what did you think of it? Because I don't think we've ever had this conversation with you. What did you think of the whole Minkah thing? Do you think, and hindsight's 2020, but do you think it was a mistake or no?
I actually don't, because you got 3 really good years out of Minkah, and if you use that on a first-round pick, there's no way you can guarantee that you're getting 3 really good years out of a player. I think he paid off from that trade because you're only getting a 4-year contract out of a rookie, and then you have to make a decision. But you got, I mean, the best safety play in the NFL for 3 consecutive years after that trade, basically. And I mean, it's gone way downhill now, but we've also signed him to a contract extension since that time frame. So like, I'm just looking at it in that window of that first 4 years of the
comparing to a rookie.
If you would have had, drafted a rookie. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it in that lens, I guess, then I think it's still a good trade because I think it paid off for us. I mean, he did make the defense a lot better. It's just dropped off since.
Yeah, I don't have any qualms with the player. It was a good player, a young player. It fit the defense perfectly for what they needed. But if you take everything into consideration for that season, they were 0-2. The defense was in tatters. They looked terrible. Ben was out for the season. You're looking at a 6-10 season at best that year. That's the year to rebuild, do a quick rebuild, draft a quarterback.
That was the good
over.
draft class. That was the good QB draft class. That was
getting
the
Minkah
class.
just made them good enough to miss the playoffs.
To go 8-8.
Yeah.
Was it 8-8?
To me, it was.
Yeah, it was 8-8, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then you had Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert. Okay, maybe you couldn't have got those guys because those were all top 6. But then you also had Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts. And
you could have gotten Herbert. You could have been that bad, Bob, that season.
Don't even get me started on Jalen Hurts. I wanted him. Don't even get me started, Bob.
They still could have had Jalen Hurts in the second round. They passed him.
I know.
They could have actually had
exactly, Trent.
Because he went at
exactly.
26.
Yeah, they could have Jordan Love. That's my further point. They were not interested in moving on from Ben. Even at that age with an arm injury that cost him the season, they were not interested in moving on. Which is just
it's a catastrophic mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Now I will say this too. There's no chance in hell anybody's giving up a first round pick for a safety now. I mean, that position has drastically changed.
Right.
And that is, I mean, you might give up a third round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick, second round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick at best now. So, I mean, in comparison, you could look at it as a really bad trade now if you really want to go hindsight.
Oh, I could see this. I could say this too, right? I could say, well, it's because they fucked us up so bad that the trade looks bad now too because they don't use it right too. You could also say that. You want to make that argument. You could say that as well. It's like it's a great player. They fuck up the way you need to use them. So I see that.
They got first round return out of Minka. He played great for 3 seasons. They got a first round return out of him. It's just the position, the situation where the quarterback was in at the time. I think it was a terrible trade. We should get to our coach list before we have Evan on here. Bob, you want to pop that up? We did our list of top coaches in the league, and we stopped at where Mike Tomlin ended up on our list. Bob's got the slide in a second, and we're going to go over, and it's all over the board. It's all over the board.
Good. There we go. We'll make it nice and big.
All right. Dave, you want to go first?
Yeah. Where's my list at? Oh, it's gone.
All the way over to the right.
Yep. All right. So yeah, look, I went with Andy Reid. I think that's pretty easy, like self-explanatory. How many Super Bowls now since he's been with the Chiefs? Sean McVay. I mean, good Lord, just look at last season. Everybody thought they probably were going to tank, and they still made the playoffs and won a game in the playoffs. Like that's to me right there itself. Kevin O'Connell, look what he's done already. He made Darnold look really good, like impressive. And I get it, the surrounding pieces as well. But I mean, still, if you can polish a turd, it's still a turd. Look what he did with Darnold. Let's see what else. Dan Campbell, like to me, Dan Campbell is almost what we would want Tomlin to be, right? He's that super motivated guy, a hard-nosed guy, but he actually wins playoff games. Does that?
Dan Campbell is Mike Tomlin with good coordinators.
Right.
That's what he is.
And that's the thing. Like, look what he's done with the Lions so quickly. I mean, that's amazing to see what he's done. Nick Sirianni, like, I know that there's a lot of like issues between him and some of those players, but the guy makes Super Bowls and wins a Super Bowl. Look what the hell they just did to the Chiefs. To me, that is extremely impressive. And by the way, my rankings are basically off of recent. I'm not going off of their whole career or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going off of currently what we've seen probably within the last 5 years, 6 years. So the next for me is John Harbaugh. I get it. It's a Ravens coach, but look what they did to us in that playoff game. Look what they've been doing every season for the last 4 years, right? Making playoffs, winning playoff games. I hate to do it, but currently within the last 5 years, I think he's been a better coach than Mike Tomlin. And then I have Mike Tomlin at 7 because Mike Tomlin, like I said, somehow brings this team back even when they start off horribly or have horrible losses. He finds a way to somehow do it. And he's been doing it for 18 seasons, if you want to do the whole no losing seasons thing. And that's why I have him 7th behind those 6 guys.
Okay, where's the damn mute button?
Why?
The whole losing seasons thing.
I'm just saying, look, hey, I'm just saying that's one thing he has on his resume that none of these guys have. That's the one thing he has.
All right, Trent, you go. Give us your list.
All right. Number 1, obvious, Andy Reid. Self-explanatory. Sean McVay, number 2. Even if you want to take out what happened last year, I mean, the coaching tree this dude has is ridiculous. I mean, he's got guys spread out all throughout the league. You can't knock that. Dan Campbell, I think if you take a guy and put him into Detroit, you could take most of the guys on this list, throw them in Detroit, and they would not do what Dan Campbell did. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I mean, they were, 0-16 a year before he took over?
Yeah, I think so.
And terrible the year he did take over. So, that's incredible to me. Nick Sirianni, I mean, the Eagles have been so consistently good, and you can see that they're really building something very strong. You got to give him credit for what he did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Harbaugh, I think Harbaugh, you can make the argument that he's a very consistent coach, very similar to Tomlin, but what he did is find guys that were going to work with his players, and specifically in Lamar Jackson. The NFL still can't figure that dude out. He found the coordinators, 2 coordinators now that will work with Lamar Jackson and make his skill set elite. And there wasn't a lot of people who believed in Lamar Jackson. He fell to the end of the first round. So give him credit for that and that culture he's built there. Kyle Shanahan, this is another guy with a great coaching tree here. So I gave him a lot of credit for that. And, I mean, he draws up a quarterback-proof offense. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, who's playing in this offense. Dude just knows how to play football. 7th, Matt LaFleur, a guy who's come from that coaching tree and a guy who's had a lot of success with the Packers, had multiple NFC championship games. So I really like what he's done. O'Connell, I put right behind him because I think those 2 are pretty 1A, 1B in the same category from that same coaching tree. And then Tomlin 9th. I mean, it's hard to find really elite coaches in the NFL. And that's kind of why Tomlin ended as high as he did for me.
All right, I'll go next because Bob's got a long one before he gets to Mike Tomlin. So I got Andy Reid and Sean McVay 1, 2. I think we all did. Those 2 guys are, I think, head and shoulders above everybody else right now. For me, Kevin O'Connell, I'm so impressed with this guy. His offenses are incredible. I don't think he gets enough credit for what those teams do with freaking Kirk Cousins, who everyone on this panel hates, still putting up monster numbers over in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell to me is really good. Sean Payton, man, he's won Super Bowls. He retired for a year, comes back in Denver. He's already got that team turned around. Sean Payton's one of the best coaches in this league. I struggle with the next one. Kyle Shanahan, I love. I love his offenses. I love everything, the coaching, the whole 9 yards. But Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs and in big games has not been good. And when he's behind, he's become infamous now. If his team's behind, he can't get caught up. So I wavered, but my love for Kyle Shanahan came through in the end, and I put him forth. And then Mike Tomlin's next. I'm looking at these other guys that you guys maybe have ahead of Mike Tomlin. I don't see it. I think Mike Tomlin is near top 5 in this league. As much as he drives me bananas. All right, Bobby, you're up.
Well, then, allow me to make my point. I'm not going to rehash Andy Reid or Sean McVay. I think I put Kyle Shanahan just a smidge ahead of Kevin O'Connell. Let's face it, he is 2 really stupid quarters away from being a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
The overtime loss, I don't think he blew it. He blew the Atlanta loss to the Patriots. he blew the first loss to the Chiefs. But yeah, and let's face it, his dad was a great coach, and he's learned a lot from him. I think Kevin O'Connell's a genius, and one thing I love about him is he knows what he doesn't know. He's an offensive guy. He's an offensive guru, and he went out and got Brian Flores and said, "Man, run my defense."
Yep.
Jeez, what would that have been like to have Brian Flores running the defense? If only the Steelers. Oh wait, we did have him. Dan Quinn, and this is another defensive guy who I think a lot of. He is he was one of the best defensive coordinators in football. He comes in last year and he turns his offense over to Cliff Kingsbury, air raid fired from Arizona, who, and to his credit, adjusted his offense, but he was hands off. He's like, man, Cliff, run it. Do your thing, man. And it was great. They made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. I really agree with Trent. I think Dan Campbell, he reminds me a lot of Bill Cowher. Going to see
Great
how he does now that Aaron Glenn, who I think is going to be on this list next year, and Ben Johnson have left him.
Yeah,
Will he develop those next two guys? And I think he will. I think he's a good guy. Nick Sirianni, hey, 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, and he won one. Of course, he's got to be on the list. Matt LaFleur, yes, he's a very good coach. I almost put Shane Steichen above him. I think Steichen is a better offensive mind than LaFleur. But LaFleur has had a lot of success in Green Bay. Pete Carroll won an NCAA championship, won a Super Bowl, was a stupid-ass decision away with Russell Wilson from winning 2.
Yes.
I think that guy has still got it. And you want to talk about a player's coach who his players love? We've heard a couple of leaks now about Tomlin maybe being hey, maybe this ain't the guy. I've never heard a player say anything bad about Pete Carroll. Sean Payton, I totally agree with Dave. He flipped it around, and he amazing turnaround in one season. DeMeco Ryans, I like that guy. He's won a playoff game, and I think he's really building something special in Houston. I think you can get Houston for one more year, and if C.J. Stroud takes the next step, I'm sorry, Kansas City, but your time on top is almost over. I put Mike Vrabel above Mike Tomlin because I really believe, because he did win in Tennessee a couple of years ago, that Tennessee made a monumental mistake. I think Drake May is going to benefit from having Mike Vrabel. That whole organization is. I hate to say it, the Patriots are back. And then Mike Tomlin. Yeah, it's a little low at 14. I get it. Maybe I'm saying he sucks. I'm not. I mean, he's still better than half the league. But he's the 3rd highest paid coach in the league who hasn't won a playoff game in a decade. I'm sorry. If you can't win in the playoffs, I don't give a rat's ass. You are not going high on my list. And all those guys above him can win in the playoffs.
Don't tell me the Patriots are back. I don't want to hear that shit for 20 fucking years. No.
He's right.
I don't want to hear this. No. I need
Unless
a 20-year
Stephon Diggs
break.
ruins that team.
I need like a 20-year break from the Patriots.
Yeah,
like
so
I
did I,
can't
buddy.
do this. Fuck.
So did I, buddy.
Oh, I couldn't
Unfortunately.
imagine being you living up there. No.
Yeah, it's not fun. Let me just tell you that.
I tried it. No.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring Evan on, talk about our sponsor.
Absolutely.
Evan, how's it going?
Oh, hold on.
How you doing?
Oh, what's going on? You're on.
All good. All good. How are you guys doing?
Great,
Good.
great. So, we've talked about this before. We've got this new fantasy league we're promoting. By the way, I made our Steelers Sanctuary private league. If you guys want in on it, just inbox me at Twitter or send me an email at daver@steelerssanctuary.com. It's a 14-team league. We're all going to be Steelers guys. Dave, go ahead. You going to say something?
I was able to copy. I used my iPad. I was able to get it in the comments. So it's in the comments, guys. League ID is 180. League passkey is Steelers Sanctuary 25. And the promo code is also Steelers Sanctuary 25. I made it as easy as I could for you people, okay?
Put your money where your mouth is. Let's see if you're better than me, Dave, and Bob, and Trent as a general manager. We all know the answer to that anyway.
And Con.
Yeah, don't forget, Kevin Colbert is rumored to be joining this league, which means we'll all get an easy win.
That's right.
You should just let Omar run your team so you'll have no wide receivers, Bob.
So it's best if everyone can try to get on before the end of this month. So the first draft in Ultra GM is going to take place starting on July 12th. That's going to be for leagues that fill and close before or on or before July 1st. So the best way to do this and to have the most time that you can have during the off season for the draft, for free agency, is to get on early, be part of that first round. So get on, buy your Steelers team, join the Steelers Sanctuary Private League, and do that by July 1st so that you can draft on July 12th and then have a couple of months to kind of build your team through the offseason.
Evan, I had a question for you. When you join and you buy your team, do you automatically get to do both the 14 team and the 32 team?
Yes. So you're
Okay.
you're automatically in both leagues. So your private league for Steelers Sanctuary is just going to be the Steelers. The other league is the 32 team league, and that's where all of your transactions are going to take place. So everyone who's in your private Steelers league is going to be in a different 32 team league, because you can only have one Steelers team in each 32 team league. And that 32 team league is the pool of people that you can trade with, that you'll be drafting with and against, et cetera. So everyone's automatically in both leagues. You'll be in a public 32 and the private Steelers Sanctuary.
Okay. I just want to make sure people understand that it's like a bonus. You actually get to do both leagues right off the bat.
Right.
Cool.
And so, when you're playing against a friend or frenemy, who's a Ravens fan or a Bengals fan or whatever, however it is, you can play against them in the 32 team league. And when the Steelers are playing the Bengals, you've got that head-to-head matchup, the bragging rights, the shit talking, all that kind of stuff. And then in the Steelers league, all season long with each other, you guys will have kind of the same kind of shit talking, bragging rights, kind of stuff going on to see, who can take that same starting Steelers roster and make the best out of it.
So Relic, we know, will automatically, be competing with the Kevin Colbert team because he plans on tanking. He's going to have Mason Rudolph. He's going to bring back Van Jefferson. It's going to be awesome.
Wait. Van Jefferson was your guy, not Kevin Cole.
Oh, yeah, Van Jefferson was never my guy. No.
No, well, I mean Omar Khan's guy, which was your guy.
I know that's a joke, obviously, and just to make it clear, though, there's no benefit to you to tank in Ultra GM because you'll be drafting where the Steelers draft anyhow. So it might be a benefit to have the Steelers tank if that's the way it would go. But you don't want to tank your own Ultra GM team. But it is a viable approach to approach it as like, hey, we're rebuilding. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to get rid of top players, accumulate draft picks, get younger. All of those are valid management strategies.
I'm tearing it down, starting over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I think, in some ways that's kind of the most fun aspect of it is, if you're willing to do that kind of thing and be like, let me zig while others are zagging and see if I tear this thing down, can I build it back up faster than the real Steelers, and get to the top before the actual Steelers do. So I know for myself, I have a couple of teams and I'm going to manage them each differently. Some will be kind of tear down approach. Some will be win now approach, different kind of strategies approaching the draft. So I think it's going to be interesting for me personally, just to see what the experience is like, doing each of those things and which approach ends up working best.
Is this a legacy thing, Evan, where if we build this year and tear it down, can we reap the benefits of the next season with the same our adjusted rosters?
So once you're in, it's like dynasty style. So this continues year after year. What you start, if you start that sort of tear down and rebuild, you can do that over the course of seasons. Now, there is a mechanism where and I've sort of anticipated, there may be some people are like, shit, man, this wasn't as easy as I thought. I don't really like this team I created after year one or year two. You can kind of hit the reset button and start again with a new roster. But otherwise, the norm is that once you've got your team, you have total control of that roster over the course of however many years you keep it. So
Nice.
you can build it season after season, draft after draft. And, going back to the draft, although, everyone will start off picking in the Steelers draft slot, you can trade. You can trade draft picks. You can trade players. So you can move up and down the board. If there are players out there that, you wanted to target and whatever, you can kind of manage that, acquire more picks, move up to get a particular target, et cetera.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I've been telling people that I feel like this game is basically you take fantasy football and you take the franchise mode on Madden and combine them to be just one beautiful big thing to do. And I feel like that's what it is.
A lot of connection there with the Madden world. And I've been talking to some people who are, kind of Madden content creators and whatever. And there's definitely a lot of excitement from those folks about the idea, because it's kind of like taking some of that Madden team management stuff, but having it actually play out on a real field instead of a computer simulation where, like, let's face it, the Madden computer simulations are not very realistic in terms of how they play out. I mean,
and I know people that literally they just buy the game just to play franchise mode, and it's like, look, if you want to go pay $70+ for that, when instead you can get your fantasy football fix and your franchise fix together, like for way less, and then it's like a dynasty thing too, a dynasty play, which is really awesome. Like, I just don't see how you wouldn't want to give this a shot. It sounds awesome to me. And then as soon as I saw you get to do the 32 league one too, I was like, oh wow, that's awesome that you're doing both automatically.
Yep. So
looking forward to
any other questions that folks want to ask, or
anybody in the chat got a question real quick before we I'm excited for this. I really am. I can't wait to dig in. I really can.
I think it's going to be awesome. So, like you said, with it's going to be interesting when you're, because we all play fantasy football. We all love fantasy football. We go to these drafts and we draft these wide receivers who are going to score 30 points. When we start, drilling it down to how many points is the punter getting me this week?
Right.
That's a deep football experience.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I'll tell you that the punter scoring is very, very small. So, the chances of a punter swaying the outcome of a game is pretty negligible, but they're there. I do see in one of the comments, looks like from Richard, saying, it requires a lot of football love. And it does in a way, but it's kind of the same love that I think everyone is investing into this show and watching it each week. So, in some ways, I think that the exercise of doing this, and kind of facing the decisions yourself, I think will kind of help everybody in terms of just not necessarily football knowledge per se, but your kind of awareness of the process and the factors that you'd want to be considering. I think kind of, there's the ability for everyone, even if you're starting off thinking like, I might not be that good at it. It's not that big of an investment for one thing, but two, I think there's a lot to be gained from it, just from sort of going through the process of like, okay, how do I want to really build this team? Where do I put my resources? What are the trade-offs in terms of, salary and production and age and all those things that a real GM is considering? I think that the opportunity to sort of have the chance to do that yourself and play it out and have some fun doing it while you're doing it with friends and other folks, fans of the show and the like, I think is something that, for the cost of it, I think is well worth it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love the fact that it actually, like, for a lot of fans who don't understand how contracts work, how trade value works, how valuable draft picks are, like, you see in these comments so many times on X, like, oh, give a first for this guy. And you're like, this guy's not worth a third. Like those people are going to struggle a little bit and learn some things on this. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, that's, I think, part of the starting premise for me, in creating it was that idea of like, you know, everybody thinks they can do better than the GM. Everyone thinks this guy's an idiot because he didn't draft this guy or he didn't make this trade. So, you know, I think there will be a reality check for a lot of people, but I think there will also be signs of people that it's like, you know what, like some of these people are doing it better than the real guys are doing it. Some of it, you know, it's not all rocket science. It's not all something that's like, wow, how could we possibly do this? You know, you just have to really think about it, because there are those trade-offs that I think most fans aren't thinking about in terms of, you know, what are realistic trades. When you say in the draft, you know, as I said, you can trade your pick. And I always hear and see fans talking about, oh, they should have moved up to get this guy. They should have moved back to get that guy. It's like, well, you're going to find out how easy is it to move up and move back like that. You know,
yeah, it's a learning experience too for people.
Is it that, you know, snap your fingers and you get whatever pick you want, or you find out like, shit, like, yeah, I want to move up, but they want a lot for that. So
hey guys, I put the link to go directly to join a private league. I put the link in the comments, so you can just click on it, or you can just go to home to read more about how this game works. So the link's right there for you guys.
Yeah, we'll make a point to put it up on Twitter too this week.
Sure. Let me just give everybody my, if you want to reach out to me, if you have any questions or any issues, you can reach me at Evan, it's EVAN @ultragm.com. And, you know, just indicate that you were, you know, with the show, and whatever questions you've got or whatever, I'm happy to answer them or work with you on, you know, if you do run into some kind of issue.
Yep, and it's posted in the chat.
Yeah,
so
Bob, just put it in the chat there if you guys want to. Yep, want to look at it.
Perfect.
All right, so we started our 14-team private league, guys. So it's the 4 of us. You got 10 spots left. I expect those all filled because we got a lot of experts in this chat. So put your money where your mouth is, boys. Don't just talk on chat. Let's see it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And just a reminder, tonight I'm on with Draft Professor at 9:00. So if you guys want to join us, we're talking about the Rams and Bucks schemes tonight. It'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect.
All right. Guys in the chat, thanks a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. We'll see you Monday. Don't forget Ultra GM with the Steelers. What are the 25?
Steelers
Sanctuary 25.
Steelers Sanctuary 25. Thank you. 25 for the code to get you $5 off and helps us out tremendously. All right, Evan, thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody. We'll see you next time on the Steelers Sanctuary podcast.
Thank you, guys.
That's all the shit I'm gonna get, motherfucker.
Excuse me. Thank you.
What am I supposed to do?
You are embarrassing yourself here, lads.
Saw that coming.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Okay, I'll play. You got me.